Hello and welcome to another Arkis video where we once again try to analyze a top driver and see if we can pick up some tricks along the way. This is the current combo for race A and it's a fun race to do. I haven't done it that much, but it's also a fun combo to time trial and try to get the most out of this Mitsubishi Lancer. It has got a lot of grip because of its four-wheel drive system, but it's on rather poor sports hard tires, so it requires some practice. Also has some turbo lag you have to learn to deal with as well. I normally describe myself as a casual but enthusiastic player. I see myself more as an entertainer than an educator, but still I am trying to pick up some new tricks and find some pace, and I would like to share my discoveries with you guys. And if you are enjoying the content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It is highly appreciated. Now let's jump in and have a look at the current World P1 lap on this one. So we are jumping on board with Damien, who is P1 at the moment on this one. And the first corner we're coming into, we are just going to rev out 5th gear, and then we're going to lift off as we come into this corner. Just try to get the car rotated around the corner, and once we get towards the 100 board and you've also got some wide barrier, you need to both get the car slowed down, get it rotated and get as close to that wall while stabilizing the car so you can get back onto the power. Very tricky, almost a lottery corner, that one. Now we've got a couple of hairpins. Here you just want to get the car slowed down, get it as tight as possible and try to get back on the throttle as early as possible. But you need to get the car stable before you get back onto the power. And the same thing goes for this second hairpin. Once you get the car slowed down, bring it down to 2nd gear, but once you want to accelerate up to 3rd gear, but make sure that the car isn't sliding at all, and then it will just power out of there. Then you will get the full benefit of the four-wheel drive system. Now we've got a tricky left-hander coming up, and you need to brake at that gray barrier. And I noticed that Damien is actually giving the brakes a second dab once the car is rotated. You can see there it is. I think it was just to make sure the car didn't run wide on the exit. Here you just have to coast through the corners, get the car lined up so you can get back on the power as you hit that apex on the right hand side there. Now you need to brake roughly where that blue barrier is starting, the one leading towards the end of the banking there, and you need to stay a bit on the brakes as Damien did there to make sure you've still got some grip in the front tires. Then just get back on the power as early as you dare, and now we are going towards the finish line, and this lap is a 1:20.181, so a very fast lap. And now for something completely different, because now it's my turn. Damien was a controller user until recently. He's changed over to the wheel. His lap on this one was done on a wheel. I got that confirmed, and here I am on the controller. And in some road cars, the brake trigger actually has what feels like a tiny dead zone, but it's actually an easy way to get a tiny bit of braking input, and I'm using that to help me around the banking. Now just get the car slowed down to 4th gear and just hoping that the car will stabilize itself. I got so close to the wall, so I got a good run out of there. And once again, getting the car down to 2nd gear and really just be patient, let the car coast, just get the feeling of it being completely stable, and then you can get early on the power and let the four-wheel drive pull you out of there. Here I am having a small hesitation on the throttle. In fact, I think I was up to 3rd a bit early, and then I had to back off a tiny bit, and you can see now Damien is starting to pull away from me. And I am beginning to be a bit nervous because I could see I was on a good lap. I am coasting through this corner, just keeping the car stable, and soon you'll see the car do a small twitch, and this was where I knew I had made a mistake. I was actually about to turn in a bit early, so I had to do a tiny correction of that. and didn't get the best run out of there, but still okay. And here, coming off the banking, I am running a tiny bit wide, struggling a bit to get the car stabilized, and now you will see that Damien is pulling away from me slightly. But I mostly lost some time by the end of the lap, but we are going to go across the line in a 1 minute 20.576. So that was, at the time for the recording, just outside the top 10. So I am happy with that result. And now for the comparison run, we've got Damien on the left and myself on the right. And as we come around the bank corner, you will see my brake lights come on a bit. It's because I'm leaning on the controller, that tiny dead zone feeling, which helps me get the car around. Now I'll just be quiet for a bit as our cars are in complete unison. And here is where I make my first small mistake. You can see I was being a bit hesitant on the throttle because I started getting a bit early on the throttle. So now Damien is starting to pull away from me. I do a decent job through the left-hander, but now you will see as I get a bit indecisive, starting to turn in, then trying to re-correct it, but somehow get it back together, and finally coming off the banking where I start to lose some time. You can see I am running a tiny bit wide, struggling with the understeer, and that, I believe, was where I lost most of the time for this lap. I might be able to squeeze a bit more out of this, but I'm also running out of time this week. But it has been fun to try to see how much time I could squeeze out of this race A time trial. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it entertaining and maybe even somewhat useful. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.